Jane, I'm not going to make it. I've got to have some help. We've been here before. The letter needs to be finished and sent the next time you sit down to tackle it. This is to somebody you know. And so short and sweet, I am a human, autistic, experiencing hyperlexia, selective mutism, and what's called PDA. They call it pathological demand avoidance, but it is, in my case, 100% certainty, and I'm sure it is with everyone, but I can only speak from my own lived experience because I'm alone in this world. It is physiological demand avoidance. When you are in a state where you have no resources and you have no one talking to you, and everyone tells you there's something wrong with how you're speaking, and you know that there isn't because you record yourself, and yes, you do go on, you have hyperlexia. I admit that. Telling me to change how I talk is equivalent to telling an asthmatic to stop acting like they can't breathe. I have physiological problems, and I am being treated as though I am making all of this up, and I am making none of it up. Everything that's happening to me is happening to humans across this globe. And it is my special sauce to take the extremely individual and go, well, where's the theory? How is this happening to other humans? It is an extraordinarily valuable skill. This is not something I learned in a book from a white man. It is happening through me because I understand our human functioning via bioelectromagnetism. Everything is frequency. And this requires us to think about things in a multimodal, multidimensional, nonlinear fashion. All I'm doing is continuing to describe things. I am not objecting to what's previously been said. I am sometimes trying to dial into what has been said at a very high level and go, but it's these 25 things. I've got to have $500 as soon as possible. I am experiencing scurvy. That's a joke. But something. I am experiencing some sort of micronutrient deficiency that is about to take my life in the U.S. of hypocrisy because nobody cares and behaves as though they care whether I live or die. This is a fantastic story. And I'm going to performance art the shit out of it. Now, when it comes to Diana, start with this, right? The autism. Then go into the fact that I recovered entirely from morbid obesity and many intertwined chronic conditions, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, etc., 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 including the toxic mold exposure. But all chronic diseases, because they are not biochemical in nature, they are bioelectromagnetic in nature, return. So healing circles should be able to send me some sort of support financially to get this story to distribute through their newsletter or whatever. You know, I'm a person with chronic disease who has no belonging. So they can help me both get some belonging, which is entirely different in my case than it is in most people's cases, and keep me alive. so that I can talk about chronic disease as bioelectromagnetic dysfunction. I need to talk to Diana about her cancer. I need to know nothing else from you, just that I have these radical, innovative hypotheses about the underlying fundamental blind spot in the Western thought tradition about human functioning, bioelectromagnetism. And if she could give me a roof over my head, we can figure it out. Not necessarily her specifically. Somebody on Whidbey has a room, and I need to get off of the streets, or I'm going to die on these streets. I don't know why. Nobody's listening to me. I am thinking on behalf of all 7.9 billion humans. I'm thinking on behalf of the fact that we are going to self-extinct because of the ever-escalating burdens of chronic disease and mental illness that are being driven by technology, and nobody has the time or the space to see how significantly we have altered our human functioning this millennium. Only because I played Rip Van Winkle. There's an enormous amount in my brain. And under the terms of this current civilization, I'm meant to just niche myself, and I cannot do it. What I need is to create an entercation empire. We're going to go all around all of this lawyers and quack business, and I'm going to do performance art. And I need that investor. But I cannot right now. This is went on. It's now the 18th month of homelessness. My chronic disease is no longer, forget these remission things, I was cured, and you know it. I had so much energy. I had so much love for this species. I have created billions, if not the ability to beat Bezos and Musk to trillions, if I could get to Mackenzie Scott or Melinda Gates, which is why I'm coming back to Whidbey. Female billionaires. And you know I got Oprah. As soon as she calls, I'm ready to go. Miss Winfrey. There's videos out there. But right now, first, I would like to work with Diana to talk about cancer in a different way. It's got to be an environmental variable. Her and her husband. And we also know the other people on Whidbey who I've interacted with. I understand the environmental challenges and benefits of Whidbey. Now, I don't use the word cure. I use RevPrev, reverse and prevent. And I can guarantee quality of life improvements. I don't know anything about what the medical diagnoses and the tools and what they'll find, but I know with no doubt, if we were to establish a working relationship and she would to pay me my consulting fees as the Sherlock of human functioning, I can give her the best shot of anyone out there so that she can continue providing the absolutely essential work that Healing Circles is doing. And then there's some levels of being paid as the Einstein of consciousness, and to distribute that along with the Socrates of the 2020s. Those aspects of my work are begging to be shown, introduced to the world through a venue like Healing Circles. But in order to be in this kind of state, I cannot continue experiencing the kind of basic, essential need deprivation that I'm living through. I just cannot, I don't know when I'm on or when I'm off. I'm lost my bioelectrical conductivity. And this is useful. Again, you understand how I'm always pivoting things, but I've got to be able to express them first in order to get past them. And I have no one to express anything to. And when I do, I'm always told I'm wrong when the being told I'm wrong is what's wrong. Everyone's going around telling everybody about themselves. They're not letting them be exactly who they are. My platform is to unite us as one species, to end all the dehumanization that plantation capitalism has built into every aspect of these systems. We are all African ancestrally. And that has got to be said and said and said and said until it is absolutely the foundation of how we think about ourselves. Furthermore, 5D. Jane, you get the concept. But it's not flowing through you. The difference between theory and application, because applied philosophy is what I'm doing. Thinking about how we think about being human. And I dwell in the complexity of it all. But I'm also very capable of, with the right collaborators, creating life-centric thinking as a movement for every nook and cranny of Earth. Healing Circles births that for the world. It guarantees every aspect of what Diana wants to create. And all it takes is 6 months of investing in bringing me back to Whidbey this winter so that I can do what I've already done and have it documented and witnessed by other people. I would like you to find, and I'll go find it for you, what I wrote about you and the other people who helped me stay alive the first time on Whidbey. Show her that. That's who I am. And that's what has to be saved, so that I can go do important work, standing against the faulty, flawed, and fraudulent paradigms of the Western thought tradition. The whistleblower of racism. The Trojan giraffe of whiteness. Please, let's get this started. All of it needs to occur. But all that needs to occur right now is to get me back to Whidbey so that I can have one winter of belonging and heal myself from a chronic, near-fatal condition again. With more people watching and seeing and putting it on the line is not... See, to me, this part of it is not only not scary, it's the part that's missing. Having the ability to talk through how to survive a chronic disease with other people and getting the feedback and understanding the complexity of it. That's what's stopping me from just shouting to the world. I have a better definition of chronic disease and mental illness. It's all to do with bioelectromagnetism. And here's how we get started. It's very complex. We're going to need some millions to create an institute to do the science. But I keep demonstrating it and demonstrating it and demonstrating it. Understanding human functioning and the whole domain of bioelectromagnetism, which is the integration of body, mind, and soul. This is what's been missing from the Western thought tradition. I need help staying alive. Nobody's talking to me. Nobody's caring whether I have money to eat or whether I have money for gas so that I am not booked into a jail cell. This is too much stress for me to be into the fine level details of refining this theory. But I have. And it answers all of the physicists' dilemmas in quantum physics. Why is the universe expanding? How do we get past this whole string and duct tape theory stuff? Once you understand what consciousness is, bioelectromagnetism, then you have to rethink everything about how we think about being human. It's just simple. It's not that complex. There's a lot, the theoretical aspects of it. Then you got to go and do the logic everywhere and fix it. But bioelectromagnetism is what everyone's searching for. It is bliss incarnate. Once you understand how to get access to the gears and shift the transmission of your brainwaves, which I've just done. This is a trance that is not about fantasy and playfulness. It is about creating a world where Homo sapiens sapiens do not judge and separate themselves, where we take our rightful role as the pinnacle of evolution so far and become the wise stewards of all life on Earth. That's what evolution has offered us, and we have, to this point, based on whiteness, completely and utterly enslaved ourselves in a version of humanity that is demeaning and condescending and downright evil. End plantation capitalism and everything improves. Understand bioelectromagnetism and your life is bliss. Harmony.